The Gooners are way worse than the degen drug addicts. Listen, the Gooner life is way worse and I know it. I've literally lived it myself. It is way worse. It is way worse and I am serious. Even the people who are literally out there being degenerate, because you hear this nowadays, the people who drink every weekend, they party, they go out, they sleep around all the time and they do all these things. Those people are way worse than the people who literally just sit at home all day and just wank the sausages, watching some screen, watching some other guy achieving the moment that he would want to achieve himself in real life. Like that person who is the degenerate, the person who's basically wasting his life. He's getting these random chemicals into his body. He is partying, he might be vaping, smoking. He's just doing things for the sake of gratification. Can't even delay it. He is better off than the guy who just sits at home all day, looking at the pixels, ejaculating, bro, literally emptying his balls, emptying his male vigor. And this is quite literally, sorry, because of the cuckoldry. I'm gonna be honest with you, it is the cuckoldry that is making the Gooner life way worse. The person who just watches pornography and masturbates towards it every single day for multiple times. I've been through it myself. I literally used to struggle with this. I used to have an addiction, not gooning per se, but I used to be the one who would shamefully touch his flipping sausage in his parents' room, feeling insecure and shameful all the time. I used to struggle with this addiction, but I've managed to cure it. And I can tell you, bro, the cuckoldry effect you get from this is what ruins you. Like, I still pretty much kind of suffer from the side effects I used to give myself back then. Like, a year and some months ago, when I was struggling with this. Years ago, actually. Because you basically condition your brain to have this desire, but to actually embrace it, go after it in a virtual world, whilst also basically gaining some sort of pleasure from watching another guy achieve it. You basically turn yourself into the guy who's actually used to watching things happen instead of doing it himself. Because even nowadays, I'm gonna be honest with you, I am still trying to take myself from the person with the retained desire, which basically means in my terms, I retain, I don't ejaculate, I don't, watch porn, I don't do these things. But I have desire for girls, I have desire for intimacy, for the connection, for sex and things, but I don't go after it now because I still have to kind of obviously fix my social skills. I'm still learning to approach and I'm still teaching myself, trying to force myself to take small steps and things. And part of it is because sometimes I literally just catch myself always being the person in the cuck seat because I hesitate so much nowadays. Literally, because of course when I was watching porn and I was addicted during those days, of course those days I was so much of a weirdo and a creep that I would never approach a girl that I was attracted to. I even conditioned my brain to see the girl, pedestalize the crap out of her and not even interact because I'd feel like such a weirdo and my balls were empty. But now it's like my balls are fudging full, but I haven't fixed my habits from before. So now it's like I just hesitate when I see the girls, and even though I'm learning all this information, I still have to fix that. And unfortunately, it leads to me sometimes literally just standing there at school or something, and I'm literally watching another guy approach and flirt and sometimes play with a girl that I would literally want to take myself. And when you think about it, bro, that is literally what porn is. You are literally watching another guy take what you want right in front of you, and you are somehow just being like that little gorilla hidden behind the bushes, literally cucking himself to the situation. It destroys you, bro. It really destroys you. I have to fix that now to being the guy, because I will now be the guy who just goes straight for what he wants. He expresses his desire, not the one who retains it, sometimes even finds himself in the cuck seat. But you right now, bro, the guy who, you are the one who's flipping gooning, you are the one who's struggling with this bad habit. This is what you are going through. You are training your brain to be a cuck. Another thing is the lethargy. Obviously, you become lethargy. It's crap. Genuinely, you become lethargy. Okay, you might also be wondering, like, how the flip is the degen guy better than the cuck? Well, of course, the degen guy, bro, he's better. Because he's the one who's actually going out there to clubs. I'm not saying that we should be doing this, that you should be doing this. Obviously not. But he's literally the one, when you think about it psychologically, who's going out to enjoy his life himself. He's not going to watch other people drink, other people, take women home or something like that. He's the one who's literally going and doing what he wants. But of course, he's doing it to an extent where he's damaging himself and he knows it. But the flipping gooner, like the cuck, he's literally watching what's happening. He's watching what's happening, and when he's in his little crusty room, and he's just training his brain to look at what he wants, ignore it, and actually kind of enjoy somebody else taking it, another man taking the success that was supposed to be his. Like, that is stupid. That is literally what will mess up a generation. That is basically what flipping gets a caveman in the old days beaten up by another caveman, and then that caveman goes and takes his flipping, like, his tribe's woman. That's basically what's happening. Sounds messed up. The lethargy. Of course, every time you wank, every time you look at those pixels, you look at the website, you take your dopamine levels, you stimulate your dopamine levels so flipping high to the point where they come so low because it's unnatural. Your dopamine baseline basically goes lower every time you watch porn. Every time you ejaculate, your prolactin goes up, your testosterone levels just basically stall out, they go down. That's why you end up feeling, obviously, lethargy. Now, you mentioned the gooner, he does this, right? Or a lot of times, that's why he's always so lazy. That's why he feels like he doesn't even want to achieve anything with his life, really. No motivation, he doesn't feel like he wants to become better, he has like no ambition, very low. Because he's basically always telling his brain that we need to relax. Because he's ejaculating all the time, so his body thinks he's reproducing, but he's not. He's just being a little goon, monkey, like you. But of course, he's not gonna achieve anything with his life. Even the flipping degen, like retarded people who literally go out there, they're loud, they're social, but in a destructive way, they are living somewhat better lives than that guy who sat in his room cucking himself to death. Yeah, to death. Because if this continues, bro, this is what ends up leading to his dopamine levels. Remember what I said about the dopamine, because I don't want to describe it too long. When you're looking at the porn and everything, the overstimulation, your dopamine levels go very high. They go on a high. But that high is so unnaturally high that when you are done with that overstimulation, they don't just go back to normal. They don't go down to normal like this. They go even below where they were in the beginning before you clicked on the website. That's why you end up feeling bored of some of the flipping gross videos that you watch. And that's why eventually you feel like you want to look for something better, or you want to do things in a different gooning method or whatever. And that's how you end up just becoming a person with diminished dopamine systems, to the point where you don't feel like anything in life is worth achieving. You don't feel like anything in life is fulfilling. You don't even feel like you want to do something sometimes. That's why you just lay there in your bed all day doom scrolling, looking for more dopamine so that you can try to increase the baseline, but you're not increasing the baseline because you're just trying to look for higher dopamine levels than your diminished baseline. And bro, if this continues for cycles and cycles and cycles, where you stay in this rut, you will get to a point where you enter somewhere called the void, where your dopamine levels are so low, lifetime fulfillment, lifetime joy, dopamine motivation is at an all-time low. And when you get into the void, I know this sounds like vague and you don't know what I'm talking about, but trust me, I've learned about this. Even if I'm just a random 16-year-old in the room, there's no going back. That's basically like the depression everyone is talking about. It's when your dopamine levels are so low, you don't feel like doing anything. Nothing in life just feels fun anymore. Nothing feels worth achieving. Everything just feels dull. Because you've stimulated yourself so flipping hard. Overstimulated. And that is where you literally start getting those questions saying like, what am I even doing on this world? I'm a waste. I'm not saying I got to that point. God willingly, I never got to that point, even though I was frying myself and everything. For me, it was more of shame. But I'm just saying, if you continue this, bro, that's what happens to the flipping cuck gooner. He can flipping end himself. Or he just stays being this person who never does anything with his life. He's just one of those flipping wastes of human potential. Just populating the earth, but he's a waste. He gets nothing with his life. Even the flipping degens end up going to the gym because they want more attraction. And end up still being degens, but they somehow just improve themselves better than the guy who's just in his room gooning to death. I hope this actually tells you now that you need to change. I'm not going to tell you exactly how, because you know what you need to do. This habit of yours is not okay. You need to take quitting it more seriously. Basically what I'm saying is, and how you do this, I know you're wondering, try to live more of a life, man. Really try to express that flipping energy of yours in productive ways. Go and play sports, go and lift a lot, exercise a lot. Stay away from the comfort of your home and don't give up. You will quit.